This Sunday is make or break, do or die. It's been a long season. If you were to describe it in song or in a lyric, what would you say about the Bills 2025 season?
Pat, I'd have to say, I'd go with Cat Stevens. Ooh, baby, it's a wild world, right? It's been up and down. And if the Bills do not win against the Jags tomorrow, then I'm probably going to go with a little Bill Withers. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime the Bills go away.
Great.
Coming to you from the great Southwest and Central New York, a brother and sister from the same mother and mister, Patrick Newell and Peg Newell, your hosts of Bill's Bloodline.
Hello, everybody. This is Bill's Bloodline. I'm Pat Newell. This is Peg Newell. Or on to my left or right, depending on how you're viewing it. And we're new here on the YouTube space. So if you'd like to subscribe, you'd like what you hear, we'd encourage you to do so.
Yeah. And if the easiest way to find us, if you're looking for Bill's Bloodline, just do a Google search. You can search on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or Facebook, Instagram. We're there. That's the fastest way. But in case you can't find us, the links will be in the show notes.
Yeah, we're doing I would call it an emergency podcast, but there is the possibility, Pack, that tomorrow could be, if we lose the Buffalo Bills, if we lose to the Jags tomorrow, our last of the year, which we're hoping to extend the season another 4 weeks. So, Peg, as a
Yeah.
super fan like me, what are you feeling right now heading into tomorrow's game?
I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. No matter what, I'm always going to pick the Bills to win this game. But I have some trepidation about it, which we'll get into probably in a little bit. Pat, but something's kind of, we usually do a 2-minute drill, but since this is a special episode, we're going a little bit differently with our format. But I'll defer to you on your thoughts before we really get into it.
Yeah, I am not as confident as I was last year. Last year against Denver and the year before against Pittsburgh, even though Denver got out to really, I still expected us to win. I am picking us to win tomorrow, but I'm not expecting it because I know it's a bit of a challenge. But what really has bothered me is that so many experts, and I do consume a lot of media, listen to a lot of podcasts, is the characterization of Josh. The onus is on him to win, and if it doesn't happen, it's on Josh. Well, I see experts, talking about it who actually played the game and they know better. Shame on them. They know this is a team game. It's not all on Josh Allen. It's not basketball. It's not Michael Jordan who could score 50 points and will his team to a victory. Josh doesn't catch the ball. He doesn't block. He doesn't play any defense at all. He could do the best he can in his role. And yeah, he does make some Superman plays from time to time. But if the pass rush is changing his reads and he's not able to find anybody open or stuff like that. There's too many exterior factors, and that really, really annoys me because it's kind of disingenuous for pro football players now sitting in the analyst seat throwing this on Josh Allen because they know it's an ultimate team game. There's 11 guys having to do their 1/11th, so to speak. So, and he has 0/11th on the defensive side. The other team, all of our playoff losses, Peg, and you know this, it hasn't been on Josh Allen. It has not been on him at all. Maybe aside from the Cincinnati game where we just played terrible, but Josh has left the field in some games with the lead, that 13 seconds game. He's had us driving down the field last year. Not Dawson Knox. Kincaid can't catch the ball the year before. Dix can't catch the ball. So, on the long pass, those things affected us. Bass missing a tying field goal. Too many things out of his control. So, if we don't win this game, it'll be a team loss, not a Josh Allen loss.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, Pat. Just listening to you, it reminds me of when Brady, can't remember what Super Bowl number it was. There was a close up on Giselle Bundchen, his ex-wife at the time, and she actually, you could read it clear as day. He can't effing, pardon that, catch the ball, like pass the ball and catch the ball himself. And as you're talking, I'm kind of thinking about that and what she said. And he can't. And I agree with you completely. It's absurd to put this on Josh. But something we were just talking about a little bit before is that Josh is 29, and he's got plenty of time left. Brady won a Super Bowl at 42. Elway won a Super Bowl at 38. Actually, I'm sorry. Brady won a Super Bowl at 43 and 41. John Elway won a Super Bowl at 38. And Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl at 39. And so it's not over. But the rest of the conference, the rest of the league, but in this case, the rest of the conference has caught up. For a while, the New England Patriots were, on a bottom tier and they didn't do well. Well, they're back. We're always going to be contending with Cincinnati once they get Joe Burrow back healthy. And so in my mind, it doesn't make a damn difference. It pisses me off a little bit because I've heard these things as well, that people are saying, this is on Josh. I'm like, this is a tough conference. And on any given day, any team, including the lowly Browns, gave the Bills a run for their money. But I'll tell you this. One thing that a lot of people in the business and a lot of people who aren't in the business like us, people do not want to face the Bills. They have their highs, their lows, that wild world. But if they're hitting on 5 out of the 6 cylinders or 3 out of the 4 cylinders, depending on your engine, they are dangerous, Pat.
Yeah, I would say, and we'll get to I guess you called our armchair analysis a little bit. There is no better A game than Josh Allen's A game in the playoffs. No, at their highs, he's the best. He's the best in the league. That includes Mahomes because he has another gear running the ball that Mahomes does not have. He has playmaking ability equal to Patrick Mahomes. He has arm strength equal to Matthew Stafford. He can read defenses. He can make plays on his own. When he's in Superman mode and he's actually clicking, he's the best quarterback in the league, and the Bills can beat anybody, like you said. So yeah, let's run into our analysis real quick because we wanted to make this a little shorter. People have a valuable time. And there's a lot of content out there, so we're gonna keep this to 15 minutes or so. So my first question to you, Peg: Buffalo Bills will beat the Jaguars on Sunday afternoon because ... ellipsis.
When this is a hot take here, if Cole Bishop steps up, right? Think about all the marquee games against those top tier quarterbacks. I think that if Bishop can make some big plays and Jordan Poyer can step up and be the leader that he's been all season for us, and we can just make Lawrence think a little bit longer and hold the ball a little bit longer in the pocket that he's want to do, we can make some big plays. He can get in his head and there can be mistakes. But I do think that this is a game that our defense has to step up. The Bills can contain Etienne. They can make some big splash plays on defense. The Bills win this game. I think the passing game, Pat, I'm your thoughts on the passing game. I'm wondering what you think about that. What are you thinking in regard to the passing game on both sides, if there is potentially a stalemate between those two aspects?
The passing game on paper, the Jaguars have better weapons than we do. We have obviously the depth of tight ends, and we're better at the tight end position, but at the wideout position, they have established guys and they're deep. So even though the metrics show that our passing game by EPA per play is better than the Jaguars, the eye test tells me that the Jaguars are a little bit better there. I think a little bit of that has to do with Josh Allen making some plays and throwing in some tight windows when guys aren't necessarily open. We're going to have to pass the ball to win the game. We can't rely entirely on the run game. Both teams are high scoring offenses. The over under for this one is I think 52 or 52 and a half points, which means they're expecting like a 27, 25, 28, 24 type of game. So we're going to have to pass the ball at some point. And because I think that I don't know if it'll be a stalemate. We have ran the ball on everybody that we've attempted to run it on. A couple games we didn't get to 100 yards, but a lot of that had to do with us falling behind and having to pass. But yeah, I think so. I think the passing game will be essential to us winning and may not be the key factor, but we're going to have to establish that.
Yeah, Pat. The Jags have held opposing teams to roughly 75 yards rushing offense this season, the average. Let me ask you this. So it's going to be tough, but hey, everybody can have a day where we can explode and exploit any weakness we see. What do you think if the Bills lose if blank?
I looked this up. So we've had 5 losses this season, and in all 5 losses, we've turned it over at least twice. All 5. Now we've had a game where we won with 2 turnovers. We beat the Buccaneers, but the key to this game is that we will lose this game if we turn it over 2+ times. The Jaguars are number 2 in the NFL in forced turnovers, 31. In their wins, I think they created 20 turnovers. So they are very, very opportunistic when it comes to turnovers. They remind me of last year's Bills, where we created a lot of short fields for our offense and scored a lot of points because we created like 32 or 33 turnovers.
Yeah.
They are almost a mirror image from that respect as us. Only last year we didn't play great defense, but we turned it over a lot. They play great defense and they turn people over. So we're going to lose this game if we turn it over 2+ times and lose the turnover battle.
Yeah. Pat, their turnover, they're plus 17 right now. And do you know what the Bills are? I'm sure you do. Can't stump the Pat.
I'm going to say I didn't check last week. We're like maybe +1.
We are +1. We should play we should have callers call in. Can you stump Pat? Yeah. So they're plus 17 and we're +1. So you are absolutely correct. We cannot turn the ball over. They are opportunistic for sure.
Yeah, that's the problem this year, Peg. Last year we had a historic year of minimal turnovers, not giving up a lot of sacks. And I think we were +20, someone could correct me, 23 or 24 last year, which is even better than the Jaguars because we only turned it over 8 times last year, the entire year. Josh Allen himself has 13 turnovers, 10 interceptions, 3 fumbles lost, including that fumble lost against the Eagles. Unfortunately, that cost us in that game. But I'm going to throw this one at you, Peg, and maybe think. I don't know how much time you've spent looking at the Jaguars, but what impresses you about that team? They've turned it around. They went 4-13 last year, kind of flipped it. They're 13-4.
Yeah, I'd say what impresses me most about the Jags is Trevor Lawrence's play this year, because he is who they thought he was when they drafted him out of Clemson. And now they've got the supporting cast around him. And I think the GM was unafraid to make big moves. Now, granted, they had a different salary cap situation than we did, but they brought in Jacoby Myers and they went on an 8-game tear. So arguably or inarguably, depending, they are the most dangerous team in the NFL right now. What impresses you most about the Jags, Pat?
I like the creativity of Liam Cohen, their head coach. He was Baker Mayfield's coach last year at Tampa Bay when he had his career year. I think he was with the Rams during their Super Bowl run. And in 2021, I'm 100% sure, but I know he coached with the Rams. He coached at Kentucky for 1 year. Believe it or not, he was the primary coach for Will Levis, who is almost like an afterthought now. But he had his career year in college and obviously improved his draft position. He gets the most out of quarterbacks. And Trevor Lawrence, the first 5-6 games this year before they went on this tear, he was figuring out the offense. But over the last 8 games where they've won all 8, I think they're winning by an average of about 19 points a game. And he's put up historic TD to turnover metrics. So what impresses me the most is they have figured out an offense to tap into Lawrence's full potential. They have a new deep, and what also impresses me is they almost have the same defense as last year. That was absolutely horrible. A lot of the same people. They went from the bottom of the league to one of the best teams in the league, and that's just coaching. So I'm most impressed with their coaching because they have a lot of the same players, and they just flipped the script from last year.
if I'm voting, if I have a vote, I give him Coach of the Year. He's not necessarily a lock, but I see him winning Coach of the Year easily. Earlier in the pod, I talked to you a little bit about Cole Bishop because I thought he could be sort of an X factor a little bit in this, and he shows up in big games, the New Orleans game, the Chiefs game. Yeah, right. And so, do you have sort of this X factor, this surprise factor for the Bills? Do you think, like, is there anybody who's going to surprise us, Pat?
You know what? We haven't seen much of him, and I wouldn't say he's under the radar. But our biggest offseason signing, we brought him in for this purpose, and that's Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa has had time to heal up. He's been on like a pitch count the last 3 or 4 weeks. And he was made for this situation, and that's why we brought him in. We did that with Von Miller as well. Von Miller didn't pan out. But Joey Bosa, in the early half of the season, when he was healthy, he had forced like 5 fumbles, which was like a Bills record. And he has 5 or 6 sacks. But I know he's been, kind of, they've been doing some game management or load management, as they say. So my under the radar aspect that not a lot of people are talking about will be the pass rush. I think that will be the ultimate key for us on defense. Can we force Trevor Lawrence to hold the ball, and will we force him into bad decisions? Will we get good pressure on him? I think that's the under the radar aspect that we need to look at from the defensive perspective is, pass rush and Joey Bosa having big games.
Yeah, I like that. And one of their best players on the line, Van Lanen. I'm not sure if he's going to play this week. He's questionable. I imagine it's a huge game he's going to play, but they're dinged up. We're all dinged up. I really think, Pat, I think that this is going to be a huge, huge game for Kincaid. It has to be. It has to be a big game. We go as Kincaid goes. He is a down the field threat for us, as we know. And then, like you mentioned, the pitch count before too. And Brandon Cooks didn't play last week.
No.
That was strategic. He didn't need to play. It was just that was Trubisky's game. We didn't need to put Cooks in harm's way and risk his health for the playoffs. And so I think we go as those down the field threats, the tight end, obviously, and then Cooks. Hopefully we'll see can make some big some separation, and maybe we can get some down the field plays.
I have a 1A under the radar aspect, and we'll get to our last question. My 1A is, and I'm not sure if we've been doing this, are we the Chiefs? Are we keeping things in our pocket for the playoffs? Are we holding back, or have we held back throughout the season, and then we're going to throw the kitchen sink out in the playoffs? Maybe we won't need to in this game, but looking at the line and how tight it is and how much we need to get this victory, I am wondering, my under the radar aspect is Joe Brady and Sean McDermott on the defensive side holding some cards close to the vest for games like this.
God, I hope so. It's kind of like when you hope, like all these people out there are hoping there's an episode 9 of Stranger Things and there's the conspiracy theories. I think that might be more, Pat, and I really hope I'm wrong. That might be more of Buffalo Bills faithful hearts instead of heads in this game. That Brady's going to emphasize efficiency. But I think for the Bills faithful, Bills Mafia out there, we're hoping that there's an appendix to that playbook. There's something deeper, the last chapter that has anything that's creative, so that we can have a look that other teams haven't seen. And we're going to even need the defense to make a score, force fumbles, potentially the defense to put some points on the board for us.
Yeah, and this brings us to the Titanic struggle. The number 1 rated rush defense, which is the Jaguars, versus the number 1 rated rushing offense of the Bills. And who's going to win that battle, Peg? And will that ultimately cancel each other out, and something else will be the primary factor? What do you think about that?
I don't think, I may have used the word stalemate earlier. I don't think anything can be a true tie or stalemate. I think that the Bills have an edge there. But I don't think it's going to be James Cook running for 100 yards in this game. If we don't have some creativity with some play action, establish that run so it opens up the passing game, or the other way around, we establish the passing game so then it allows Cook to get some yards. Either way, I think that we might have a slight edge.
Yeah, teams with great rushing defenses at the time that we played them. Carolina, we ran for over 200 yards. Even though we lost to Houston, we ran for 130 or 140 yards against them. Kansas City, at the time we played them, great rush defense. We ran wild against them as well.
Yeah.
So unless they completely sell out the stop the run, which would take them out of character from what they like to do. Of course, they like to play like boxes, like we do. They're very similar defense to us. They play a nickel 5-4-2-5 type primarily defense, where they have, their fifth defensive back is like a Taron Johnson who comes up and supports the run. They're
Hmm.
very good at that. But if we're pounding them at the running game, and they're going to get out of character, and if they try to stop the run by throwing more guys, that's out of character too. That would be
Right.
the first sign that we're forcing them to change what they like to do because of
Right.
the way we run our offense. I like that possibility.
Yeah. Impose our will
Yeah.
on them.
So I have last thing for you, Peg, and I know who you're picking to win. I'm picking the same team, but do you have a
Yeah.
score in mind?
Yeah. One of the things, it's funny, I look back on people's predictions. All of Fox Sports, not that the Bills need any motivation. All of the big people at Fox Sports, they all picked the Jags. ESPN was split. USA Today all sweep in favor of the Jags. CBS Sports taking the Jags. Almost everyone is taking the Jags. Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. And you know what? I hope they're all wrong. I'm going to relish that. I'm picking the Bills to win this one 24-17.
That's a good pick. From a historical standpoint, I researched this. When the expected point total is 49, you may have heard this, 49 points or more, and this one's 52 and a half. Since 2020, the Jags are 0-16 when the expected points total is 49 or more, which means
Good.
the history serves right. They're going to go 0-17, and the Bills will win this game. So
I like that.
yeah, I think it could be a shootout. It depends. But I'm picking 30-24, the Bills.
Yeah.
With a missed
Okay.
extra point.
There will be a missed extra point.
Yeah. So picking
Good.
that because we missed extra points last week only because we had to go for 2, so we missed that. So there'll be a missed
Yeah.
conversion by the Bills. I don't know that. Maybe that's like what do they call that? Like a prop bet? Will the Bills
Yeah.
miss? The Bills will miss
Yes.
an extra point. It's 3-1 odds or something like that. So I
Yeah.
think that's all we have for this one. We kept it a
Yeah.
little bit
Special.
shorter. And hopefully you guys stay with us the whole way, but we appreciate it. Peg, anything else?
Yeah. Nothing I could add. Thanks for joining us for this special episode of Bill's Bloodline.
Yeah, of course, from our family to your family, stay loud, stay proud. And we'll see you here hopefully tomorrow night after a victory. Go
That's right.
Bills.
Go Bills.